Every morning, Linda Johnson woke up feeling tired. Not exhausted, not sick, just tired. At first, she didn't think much about it. After all, she was 68 years old. She helped take care of her grandchildren. She stayed busy throughout the day. And like many older adults, she assumed feeling tired was simply part of getting older. But then something happened that made her doctor ask an unexpected question. A question that had nothing to do with medication, nothing to do with diet, and nothing to do with exercise. Instead, it focused on something Linda had ignored for years. Her sleep. What her doctor discovered next shocked her. Because the same thing making her feel tired every morning might also have been quietly affecting her blood pressure. And the most surprising part, Linda had no idea it was happening. If you've ever woken up tired, even after spending hours in bed, this story may be more important than you think. Linda Johnson was the kind of grandmother everyone depended on. If her daughter needed help, Linda was there. If one of the grandchildren needed to be picked up from school, Linda was there. If the family needed anything, Linda always stepped in. Most days started early, long before the rest of the house was awake, and most nights ended late. Sometimes she would wake up during the night, then fall asleep again, then wake up once more. But she never considered it a serious problem. In her mind, that was simply what happened when you got older. Many of her friends complained about sleep too, so she assumed it was normal. For years, Linda accepted poor sleep as part of life. She never imagined it could be connected to something much bigger, something her doctor had been trying to understand for quite some time. The question was, what if her sleep wasn't just a symptom? What if it was part of the cause? As time went on, Linda became increasingly frustrated. Every doctor's visit seemed to end the same way. More questions, more discussions, more uncertainty. Nothing appeared dramatically wrong, yet something still didn't feel right. She often woke up feeling unrefreshed. Some afternoons, she felt like she could fall asleep sitting in a chair. Other days, she simply felt drained. Not enough to stop her from caring for her family, but enough to notice. And enough to wonder. Her doctor reviewed everything: daily habits, medical history, lifestyle factors. The obvious explanations were carefully examined, yet the answer still seemed incomplete. It was almost like a puzzle with one missing piece. And until that missing piece was found, nothing fully made sense. That's when the investigation took an unexpected turn towards something most people rarely associate with blood pressure: sleep. When most people think about high blood pressure, their minds usually go to the same places: food, weight, stress, medication. Those topics get almost all of the attention. And to be fair, they are important. But there is another factor that often gets pushed into the background: sleep. The strange thing is, many people treat poor sleep as an inconvenience, not a health issue. If they wake up several times a night, they shrug it off. If they feel tired every morning, they accept it. If they need an afternoon nap, they blame age. Linda was no different. For years, she believed poor sleep was simply part of getting older, something unpleasant, but harmless. What she didn't realize was that sleep affects far more than energy levels. In fact, sleep may influence some of the same systems involved in blood pressure regulation. And that's where Linda's story begins to change. Think about your cell phone for a moment. Imagine plugging it in every night, but every hour, someone secretly unplugs the charger, then plugs it back in again, then unplugs it, again and again. By morning, the phone may show some charge, but the battery never fully recovered. Sleep works in a surprisingly similar way. Your body needs uninterrupted recovery, not just time spent lying in bed. Recovery, restoration, repair, those things happen during healthy sleep. But when sleep becomes fragmented, the body may miss some of that recovery time. Night after night, week after week, year after year, and eventually, those missed hours can start adding up. At this point, Linda still had no idea how much her sleep was being disrupted, but she was about to find out. Before we continue, I'd love to hear from you. How many hours do you usually sleep each night? 5, 6, 7, or 8 or more? Leave your answer in the comments below. And if you're finding this information helpful, don't forget to hit the like button. Now let's get back to Linda's story. During one appointment, Linda's doctor suggested something unexpected. Instead of focusing on medication, he wanted to look at her sleep. At first, Linda almost laughed. What could sleep possibly have to do with blood pressure? She had asked herself that same question, but her doctor encouraged her to pay closer attention. So she did. For several weeks, Linda tracked her sleep habits. When she went to bed, when she woke up, how often she woke during the night. And the results were surprising. She wasn't sleeping nearly as well as she thought. Some nights, she woke up multiple times. Other nights, she spent long periods lying awake. There were mornings when she felt exhausted, despite spending plenty of time in bed. For the first time, Linda realized something important. She may have been getting enough hours, but she wasn't getting enough quality sleep. And suddenly, the missing piece of the puzzle didn't seem so mysterious anymore. One of the biggest myths about sleep is believing that more time in bed automatically means better sleep. Unfortunately, that's not always true. Someone can spend 8 hours in bed and still wake up feeling tired, because quality matters just as much as quantity. Maybe you've experienced it yourself. You sleep all night, yet somehow you still feel drained the next morning. You need coffee immediately. You feel sluggish. You struggle to focus. You find yourself looking forward to a nap before lunchtime. Those are clues. Small clues. Easy clues to ignore, but clues nonetheless. And many people ignore them for years. Linda certainly did, because she assumed everyone her age felt the same way. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine a car engine that never completely shuts off. It keeps running hour after hour, day after day. Eventually, wear and tear begins to build. The body may experience something similar. Healthy sleep gives the body an opportunity to slow down, to recover, doreshet, to prepare for the next day. But when sleep is consistently poor, the body may spend more time in a state of alertness, and over long periods, that can place additional strain on systems involved in overall cardiovascular health. This was something Linda had never considered before. Yet the more she learned, the more it made sense. The good news was that Linda didn't need a complicated solution. She didn't completely overhaul her life. She focused on small changes. Consistent bedtime routines, a calmer evening environment, fewer distractions before bed, more attention to sleep habits. Simple things, but she practiced them consistently. And over time, she began noticing changes. Her mornings felt easier. Her energy improved. She felt more refreshed. And perhaps most importantly, she no longer viewed poor sleep as something she simply had to accept. She finally understood that quality sleep mattered far more than she had ever realized. So let's quickly recap. Linda spent years believing her sleep problems were simply part of aging, but eventually, she discovered something important. Poor sleep isn't always harmless. Time in bed is not the same as quality sleep, and sometimes, the missing factor behind stubborn health challenges is hiding in plain sight. Many people focus on what happens during the day, what they eat, what they drink, what medication they take, but they rarely think about what happens during the night. And yet, that may be where some of the biggest clues are found. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Do you wake up feeling refreshed most mornings? Or do you often feel tired, even after a full night's sleep? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the Heart Insider 60+. Every week, we uncover hidden blood pressure triggers, cardiologist insights, and important health information every adult over 60 should know. And remember, sometimes the reason your blood pressure remains difficult to control isn't because you're doing something wrong. Sometimes it's because your body hasn't been getting the rest it truly needs.